Mr. Omoniyi, looking at the current situation in Nigeria, do you think there's any hope?
Oh, sure, there is hope for Nigeria. I think all we just need to do is learn and do the right thing. The moment we do that, everything will be fine.
You talk about the right things. What are these right things you talk about?
Well, for proper planning, accountability, development, and improvement of lives of any citizens of any country, the government of that country must have a basic and accurate information about their citizens. The problem with Nigeria is that Nigerian government doesn't have such information. Nigerian government doesn't even know the number of people living in the country at the moment, so it's always going to be very difficult, irrespective of who is there as the leader, because most of the key decisions is going to be made based on assumption or influenced by family, friends, or political associates. So unless we get these figures right, it's always going to be very difficult. So that is the main problem we're having in Nigeria at the moment.
So what about the population census?
Population census is a scam. Scam in the sense that figure we have at the moment is made up figures. They're not accurate, they're highly misleading, and even the way the data was captured makes it practically useless for any form of analysis.
That's a serious point you put across, because this figure is generally used across the world and it's accepted. What makes you think it's wrong? Do you have any proof?
Yeah, I mean, this is not just about what I think, because every information that available out there contradicts this particular figure you're talking about. Let's look at it from this angle. At the moment, the population of Nigeria is estimated to be 182 million. And if you look at how we have managed to grow, from, like, let me take it from 1960. In 1960, the population of Nigeria was estimated to 45.2 million. There are two factors that are responsible for change in population. The first one is the birth rate combined with the rate at which people move into the country, and the second one is the death rate combined with the rate at which people emigrate out of the country. When you look at these two, from all information available, there has not been any major significant difference between these two. So if you're now saying Nigeria has grown from 45.2 million to 182 million within 56 years, we need to ask ourselves, where are these figures coming from? Yeah, like if you look at the population distribution by age, you see, I mean, that is even very shocking, because like the percentage of children between the 0 and 14 has always been between 41 and 45%, and that has never gone beyond or below that. For you to understand better, let me just make it very clear now. In 1960, the population of Nigeria was 45.2 million, and the percentage of children in that category was 41%. And so which means out of 45.2 million, the number of children in that category was around 18 million. 15 years after, that is in 1975, the population of Nigeria increased to 63 million. That is an increase of about 18 million. And the shocking thing is that the percentage of children within the ages of 0 to 14 also increased to 43 million. Don't forget that anybody that was born in 1960, 15 years after, that person must have moved from that particular category to another group. But this has not really changed when you look at the distribution itself. And when you look at the part of the adult, those that are above 65 years has always been between 2.8 to 3%. So, like this thing is really, if you do the arithmetic, like all these things don't really add up, and we really need to like go back and ask ourselves questions on what is happening. Another major thing I want you to look at is let's look at the area of the landmass of Nigeria. The landmass of Nigeria is 910,000 kilometers square. That is, if you exclude rivers. And out of this 910,000 kilometers square, 820,000 kilometers square is either forest or agricultural land, which means the residential area in Nigeria is just about 90,000 kilometers square. If you calculate the population density based on that, what it means is that you have 2,022 people per kilometer square. I don't know of anywhere in Nigeria where you can go and you find 2,000 people living in a kilometer square area. So these are the kind of things we need to look at and ask ourselves. I mean, is it okay?
But why are they inflating the figures? Is there any solution to this?
Oh yeah, there are so many reasons why. I mean, the figures have been inflated based on what I've read so far. The first one is the issue of corruption itself. Because like take for instance, in an environment or in a place whereby you have population of about 100 million, and you now saying that the population is 182 million. So what you are trying to do is that even when you present your budget, you already present your budget in excess. So you've given room for people to steal. Apart from that, electoral malpractices and struggle for power. Because like take for instance, I think in Nigeria, in every state you have like 3 senators. Let me use that as an example. But very recently, some states, that are, even when you look at their population, they're not even up to maybe like Lagos State, and most of these states are being divided into several other states, and at the end of the day, so where you are supposed to even have one senator, representing a particular region, you end up having about 10, or I mean 12, 15, so that is exactly what we are talking about. And the solution is going to be a very tough one, and that is the reason why up till now there has not been any success, when it comes to the issue of conducting population census in Nigeria. Because you take for instance a particular region that has about 3, or I mean there's about 6 or 9 senators. I mean, how do you go back to them and tell them because of your population this has to reduce? And another area is the area of federal government allocation. Federal government allocation have been distributed based on this population. So when you look at all these factors, it's definitely going to be very, very difficult, because there will be some people there that will never allow you to work. And if you're looking for proper development in Nigeria, this is the only solution. Unless we get the data right, we are never going to get anywhere.
There's a lot of anger and frustration in Nigeria at the moment. Do you have any advice for the current administration?
Well, I think at the moment, one of the things that this present administration is not doing right is in the area of communication, because they are not really communicating with the people. And they say nothing is more important to a democracy than a well-informed electorate. People don't really seem to understand what is going on. The country is going through recession, and it seems there is this gap between the government and the people. So nobody is really communicating with them, so what they are looking for is someone to come around and give them hope. Now, if they're going to continue like this, for how long are they going to wait for things to turn around? And since the government is doing that, it's just creating rooms for all forms of crisis. Because at the moment, it seems to me like the whole country is just sitting on the gunpowder, and any slight scratch might just like through the country of balance. And another major thing is in the area of political appointees. Majority of these people that have been appointed by the present administration, they are not really helping the government. Not that they don't want to help the government, but majority of them don't even know what it takes. So most time when you watch them on TV and you watch their interviews, you begin to like ask yourself, I mean, what has this person got to offer? I mean, it goes a bit beyond just being very disciplined. That is not what we're talking about, because you can say you cannot really compete with somebody if you don't have what that person has. We want to compete with the other developed nation. We want a situation whereby the government will be able to like move Nigeria forward and turn it from developing to a developed nation. I mean, but when you look at all these people, I don't think that they are really helping the president, because it looks to me that the president is dragging the country with one hand, and at the same time drag the appointees with the other hand. So if we're really looking for change, I mean, it has to start from there. I mean, you can reach out to your cabinet and appoint people that will help you, and come up with ideas, things that will like and help you build the country. So that is just my advice for the present administration.
Thank you, Mr. Omoniyi, for speaking with us today.